Have you ever wondered if something as simple as rice could be the secret to awakening your soil's hidden life? In the world of organic gardening, we're constantly searching for natural, affordable, and effective ways to boost soil fertility. But here's a question that often stirs curiosity among gardeners. Does cooked rice or raw rice work better to feed soil microbes? I decided to put this to the test. And what happened within just 48 hours was nothing short of fascinating. So grab your gardening gloves and curiosity, because in this story, we're diving deep into the living world beneath your feet to find out which type of rice truly wakes up the soil microbes and supercharges your garden's growth. Before we jump into the rice showdown, it's important to understand why soil microbes matter so much. These invisible helpers, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and actinomycetes, are the heartbeat of a thriving garden. They break down organic matter, unlock nutrients, improve soil structure, and even protect plant roots from disease. Think of your soil as a bustling underground city. Microbes are its workers, builders, and recyclers, but like any workforce, they need energy, and that's where food sources like rice come in. Rice, being rich in carbohydrates, acts like a sugar rush for microbes. When added to soil, it provides the fuel they need to multiply and become more active. But not all rice is created equal when it comes to microbial growth. Should you add it raw, straight from the bag, or cooked soft and ready to decompose? In this little experiment for soil stories, I used two simple bowls, one filled with raw rice and another with cooked rice. Both were buried in healthy garden soil, kept moist, and left for observation. The goal was to see which one would show signs of microbial and fungal activity first, visible through changes in smell, texture, and appearance. And friends, let me tell you, within just 48 hours, the difference was already clear. Cooked rice, being soft and moist, instantly becomes an easy meal for microbes. The cooking process breaks down the starches, making them simpler and more accessible for bacteria and fungi to digest. Within 2 days, I noticed a faint sour smell, a sure sign that fermentation and bacterial activity had begun. The grains turned slightly sticky and patches of white fungal growth began to form. That was the moment I realized cooked rice wakes up the soil faster than you can imagine. When you add cooked rice to the soil, it behaves almost like compost starter. The microbes swarm in, feeding on the easily available carbohydrates, and in the process they multiply rapidly. This explosion of microbial life creates warmth and organic acids that start improving the soil structure right away. However, there's one catch. Because cooked rice decomposes so quickly, it can sometimes go anaerobic, which means it's lacking oxygen if it's buried too deeply or kept too wet. When that happens, you might notice a foul, rotten smell, and that's a sign that bad bacteria have taken over. So, if you're planning to use cooked rice as a soil activator, just mix it lightly into the top few inches of soil and keep it aerated. You can also blend a small portion into compost to help kickstart microbial activity there. Raw rice, on the other hand, is the patient gardener's choice. Since the starches are still locked within the grain, microbes take much longer to access and break them down. For the first couple of days, not much really seems to happen. The grains stay intact, and the soil looks pretty much unchanged. But here's the interesting part. After about a week, things start to shift. A subtle white fuzz begins to form as fungi move in to start the decomposition process. This slower breakdown provides a long-term source of carbon for microbes, keeping them fed over time, rather than overwhelming them with a sudden feast. Raw rice also avoids the risk of going anaerobic because it doesn't decay too fast. This makes it a great choice for gardeners who want a steady, balanced microbial boost without worrying about bad smells or overly rapid fermentation. The downside? You won't see dramatic results in 48 hours like you do with cooked rice, but over the long run, raw rice nourishes your soil life more sustainably. If your goal is to wake up dormant soil microbes fast, cooked rice wins hands down. It's like, an instant wake-up call for your soil, perfect for jump-starting compost piles, reviving tired garden beds, or reactivating microbial teas. but if you're thinking long-term and want to maintain balanced microbial activity without risking foul odors, raw rice might be your quiet hero. It works slowly, just steadily enriching the soil structure and feeding microbes over time. In truth, both cooked and raw rice have their place in the garden. The trick is knowing when and how to use each. For those eager to try this at home, here's a simple and effective way to use rice safely in your soil. Start with a handful or two of cooked rice, preferably plain, no oil or salt. Mix it into the top layer of soil or compost, and keep it moist, but not soggy. In warm weather, you'll see signs of life, like fungal threads or a light sour smell, in about 48 hours. That's your soil waking up. For raw rice, just crush it lightly to expose more surface area, and sprinkle it into your compost pile, or mix it into soil during bed preparation. Over time it will slowly decompose, feeding your microbes for weeks or even months. A helpful tip: you can combine both types for a powerful 1-2 punch, cooked rice for a fast microbial boost, and raw rice for steady, long-term nourishment. Healthy soil doesn't happen overnight, but, understanding what feeds your microbes puts you far ahead of the game. When soil microbes are active, your plants grow stronger roots, resist diseases, and absorb nutrients more efficiently. Whether you're growing leafy greens, tomatoes, or root crops, using rice as a microbial activator is actually one of the simplest natural hacks you can try. No fancy fertilizers required. In the end, it's not just about cooked versus raw rice. It's about, reconnecting with the living soil and learning how even the simplest kitchen ingredients can really breathe life back into your garden. Watching soil microbes come alive within just 48 hours was a pretty powerful reminder that our gardens are alive, not just in what we plant above the ground, but in what thrives below it. Cooked rice may be the spark that wakes them up, while raw rice sustains their energy for the long haul. So next time you have leftover rice in the kitchen, don't throw it away. Offer it to your soil, and just watch the miracle unfold. If you found this story helpful and inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to Soil Stories for more hands-on experiments, natural gardening tricks, and soil secrets revealed. And hey, share this article with your fellow gardeners, because when we feed the soil, we feed the future.